lot of people here. All right, good afternoon, everybody. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Jean Morrison. I'm the University Provost and Chief Academic Officer, and I want to thank everybody for joining us today as we mark this very exciting moment in the life of our university and our community. Over the last 3 years, we've watched this wonder as the girders and scaffolding and steel and glass have gone up along Commonwealth Avenue, and this truly remarkable building has taken shape, one that is transforming not only our Charles River campus, but Boston University's leadership in the rapidly advancing fields of computing and data science. Before I go any further, I want to recognize some special partners and friends who are with us today, whose input and guidance and support were critical to our being here. First, thank you to the Charles River Community Task Force Chair, Pam Beal. Where are you, Pam? Thank you, Pam, and to her colleagues on the Charles River and Fenway task forces. Thank you as well to Mayor Wu and her administration, City Councilor Kenzie Bach, former councilors Matt O'Malley and Josh Zakem, Congressman Jake Auchincloss and his staff, State Representative Russell Holmes, and our BU trustees and advisory board members. I'd also like to recognize the incredible staff at the Boston Planning and Development Agency, the Zoning Commission, and so many other departments, from inspectional services to transportation, police, and fire, whose longstanding cooperation ensured a seamless and smooth completion to this project. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge our outstanding BU project team, including our partners at KPMB Architects, Suffolk Construction, and the many fantastic contractors that they enlisted, our facilities, planning, sustainability, and operations teams as well. And then finally, our academic leadership, including our Associate Provost for Computing and Data Sciences, Azar Bastavros, and the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Stan Sklarov. Like the research this building will soon house, a project of this nature is incredibly complex and would not have been possible without so many talented and dedicated people working together toward a shared goal. Please, everyone, join me in a round of applause for all of the partners that we've enjoyed in this endeavor. Data is, of course, changing the way all of us work, conduct research, and approach many of the world's most vexing challenges. Virtually every sector of the global economy, from industry to government to law, medicine, higher education, is impacted in major ways by the use of large amounts of data and increasingly sophisticated computing. At Boston University, we see this reflected every day in the demand from our students for academic programs in computational fields and data science, and in the explosion of the job market that demands skills that transcend traditional boundaries. We saw it, of course, over the last 2 years in our university's successful response and management of a global pandemic that overnight transformed the way we work, teach, learn, access healthcare and testing, and tried to remain in contact with one another. It's the mark of a good research university to produce scholarship and solutions that answer the demands that society sets for us. But it's the mark of a great research university to set the future, to pave the way for the creation of fundamental new knowledge that helps to advance society and improve the quality of life for populations around the world. And we are now positioned to do just that. Boston University has had a remarkable roster of talent across the fields of computing and data sciences. but never a chance like the one we celebrate today to bring together so many bright minds and new ideas under one roof, where the capacity for collaboration and creation is absolutely unfettered. As the new home for the Departments of Computer Science and Math and Statistics and the Faculty for Computing and Data Sciences, the building we dedicate here at 655 Commonwealth Avenue is far more than an avant-garde geometry of shapes and forms of glass and steel. And we have indeed seen in this building, as perhaps Boston's largest freestanding Instagram feed, many takes on the social media persona. There's the Jenga building or the BU stack of books. Don't get me wrong, we appreciate all the social media attention. The Boston skyline and our campus will forever be changed by this truly remarkable building. But once the ribbons are cut, the novelty begins to fade, and the cars along Comm Ave, Storrow Drive, and Memorial Drive no longer slow down quite the same way they do now to take their cell phone pictures. The Center for Computing and Data Sciences will be, at its core, what it's always been about: harnessing the strength of this university, its great faculty, to produce new research, innovation, and ideas across dozens of fields, and in turn impacting the lives of populations around the world. When we laid out the initial blueprints for this building and then established the Faculty of Computing and Data Sciences in 2019, we recognized that the potential of this project and the work it enables to shape the future of research at Boston University and beyond. We recognized its ability to bring together people across disciplines and unleash truly groundbreaking discovery and capabilities in not just technology and computing, but business, science, law, public health, the humanities, and the social sciences. After 3 years of construction and anticipation, and a tremendous amount of work by Associate Provost Azar Bastavros and his team to build a truly world-class faculty, that future is finally at our doorstep, and we know that we're setting the table for something very exciting here on Comm Ave. In the coming weeks, the din of construction equipment will give way to the buzz of faculty and students designing the next algorithm, forging the next cross-disciplinary research collaboration, and preparing to change the world with the next big idea. We are proud at Boston University to continue in this tradition of pioneering innovation and beyond excited to bring this new era of BU research to life. And now to speak more about this project's impact and introduce our next speaker, it's my great pleasure to turn things over to the president of Boston University, Robert A. Brown.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you all for coming to this wonderful occasion in the life of Boston University, the opening of the Center for Computing and Data Sciences. Before I thank several people for their enormous contributions to getting us to this day, I'd like to reflect a little bit more historically on the journey that got us here. People in the computer science department will remember that there's been a number of renditions, concepts over the years of building a building in computation for this campus. I remember the first time walking into the department and saying we were going to do this, and the huge skepticism that comes from those failed attempts in the past. The concept of the center began with the first iteration of an academic program over a decade ago. It really started becoming reality when we held an architectural competition in the fall of 2012, yes, a decade ago, at which our architects, KPMB, presented a design from which this building flows. They had the concept of the remarkable design. 3 trustees were on that group: Steve Karp, Alan Leventhal, and Richard Cohen, and advised us on which architect to pick. And we sit here a decade later reveling in their advice. As we waited to construct the center, our ambitions grew as we thought about and redesigned how we thought about computation and data sciences across the university. The Faculty for Computing and Data Sciences was born, as was our growing commitment to embedding computing, AI, machine learning all across the university. We saw this programmatic initiative as critical to our role as a leading research university in the decades ahead. It's easy to understand why, I think. We all live in a world in which computing is rapidly developing into an integral part of all of our daily lives and all of society. Computing has evolved from the earliest days, which I date back to, when it was used only by a few experts to design on very exotic machines the most technically complicated systems: aerospace vehicles, airplanes, computer chips, oil reservoirs, and using exotic and expensive machines. Today, computing is ubiquitous. Data storage is essentially free. And computing and data storage is embedded in everything we do. Along with computing has come our ability to generate, because of that, enormous sets of data, and to bring computing and that data together to discover patterns and correlations that we would just a decade ago would only dream we could do. This impact of computing and data sciences on society is already large and will become enormous. We are in a data-driven revolution. Boston University is committed to leading in this revolution and to bringing computing and data sciences to all of our academic disciplines, not only to build applications, but to shape its ethical use in those applications. Our aspiration spreads across our campus, but it's centered here in this remarkable building, which is the statement, the physical embodiment of that commitment. The three departments that Jean talked about, math and statistics, computer science, our new Faculty for Computing and Data Sciences, anchor this on the technical side, but it really diffuses across all parts of the institution. The fact that the center is located here, as in people know I joke, at the side of the Burger King. See, there are people that remember. It's at the center of our campus. It was really the last greenfield space we had on ComAv of any scale. And it's appropriate that it's here. There's no better collection of faculty and students to occupy this location as we move into the middle of the 21st century. I expect that the education and research that happens here in the center will play a major role in defining Boston University going forward in the decades ahead, and prepare our graduates, both in those fields and other graduates, to lead in a world driven by computing. Now, this building would not have been possible without incredible efforts of many people. One I want to emphasize at this point is the incredible support of our Board of Trustees over the decade as we have planned this building. I'll go back to two past chairs of the board who were involved, Bob Knox and Kenneth Feld, and then the support of Amos Fakahani, who you'll hear from in a minute, our current chair. Our University Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Jean Morrison, led the definitive programming for this building and served as what I call the owner, the principal client for the building, overseeing, working with the architects on the design process and justifying the budget. Our architects at KPMB, led by founders of the firm, Marianne McKenna and Bruce Kawabara, and their team, many of whom are with us today, took the program and our really crudely formed concepts and designed very quickly in the concepts of what we see here today, which is a great set of public open spaces for our students, faculty, and staff in a remarkable building in an urban setting. It's iconic in its architecture, but it also shows our commitment to the urban environment and to the sustainability of our planet. I want to thank them for their marvelous work. As you no doubt have heard, the center is the largest carbon neutral building in Boston today. No fossil fuels are being delivered into this building, only electricity. The vast majority of the heating and cooling of this building is supplied by 31 geothermal wells powering a very large heat pump system, each well going down 1,500 feet, most of them in the alley between here and Bay State Road. The wells at 1,500 feet are twice the depth of the height of the Prudential building. So you get a sense of the magnitude of the system. This geothermal system and other sustainable elements make the center a centerpiece for our commitment to a carbon-free campus by 2040 or before, and which is the target of our climate action plan. We are moving quickly to become carbon-free so that we can demonstrate to others in the city of Boston how to creatively address the looming climate crisis. I want to thank Gary Nixon, now Senior Vice President, Financial Affairs and Treasurer, for championing the sustainability of this center with our administration. Thank you, Gary. I also want to thank John Fish, CEO of Suffolk Construction, and his marvelous team for partnering with us so effectively on building this project. Now, I have watched a lot of construction projects in my time. People know I do watch. And this one has to rank among the most complicated I have ever been involved with. And the fact that it came together and we're standing here this afternoon is a marvel to project management. I also want to now take, with my pleasure, to introduce the Mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, who is with us today. We're really delighted to have you with us. You have seen the building rising on the skyline in your time as mayor and before, and you've been inside the building doing construction at an event we hosted. I suspect you have wondered to yourself one of two things. Either what were they thinking when they designed this, or hey, that's pretty cool. I don't know which. We are mindful, though, of your strong commitments to fighting global warming, of creating a carbon-free Boston, and to creating a thriving, sustainable economy in our city. We are aligned, as you can tell. The programmatic motivation of this building is clear. It reflects the importance of computing and data science in our rapidly changing society and economy. But it also, through its sustainability features, represents the future that we have to have a carbon-neutral Boston University by 2040 and a better environment for all the people living in Boston. We wanted something distinctive, something that would denote the center of our campus. I think we've gotten that. We've achieved what I like to call a remarkable building, defined as a building about which everyone will make a remark, especially the people who live in Cambridge. Mayor Wu.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to Madam Provost, Mr. President, Mr. Chair, and congratulations to be here at the end of a 10-year journey and to hear a little bit about all of the intricate dreams and visions and plans and then complicated logistics that went into this is quite a treat. To answer your question quite directly, I am delighted, and I'm reminded of this at home as well. Must have been about 2 months ago, my family was with my husband and kids, and we were driving along the water in Storrow, and of course they saw this rising up, and so ever since then they have been quite disappointed with the architecture of our home. And one day, this is thrilling, because what our city has the opportunity to do right now in this moment in our state, in our country, across the world, is really to step up and lead and to be that remarkable example of how when we take action on the things that matter, not only can we see a difference right away that benefits everyone in our communities, but in fact, we can see an impact on all of the issues that matter, often at the very same time. And so to be in a building that represents health and well-being with state-of-the-art technology and clean and healthy and inspiring spaces within for the many, many talented students and faculty members who are here, to be in a building whose footprint reaches way down, to draw on our natural resources in a way that is sustainable and really sets an example across the entire country for how to think about integrating our climate obligations, and then to be a home for not only one of the growth sectors in our economy that Boston must continue to be that leading example on, but the commitment here to flip the script on who is included in those pathways and workforce development pipelines. We are so proud and excited of the work happening here. I know they were recognized before, but I will shout out my City Council colleagues. They're kind of all standing in a clump over there anyway. So I see City Councilor Kenzie Bach and my former colleagues, former Councilor Matt O'Malley and Josh Zakem, all of whom have been climate champions, education champions, and so really this is another show of how much this matters across the entire city. I hope this building is also an example of how each one of us, each institution, each community, each individual in some way can have an impact in what feels often like a pretty big and daunting set of challenges ahead of us. When we think about the global changes that are needed to stay below, wherever we can, this threshold of warming that will keep us in a livable set of pathways ahead of us and not spiral into tipping points, there's a closing window of time to act. And that feels like, how can one city start to make a dent in that? But if you break down the numbers, in Boston, our emissions, the vast, vast majority, more than 70% of our emissions, come from buildings. And within that, the majority of the emissions across our entire building sector come from just a few of the largest buildings. And so to have one of our very large buildings now here very plainly saying, not only can we make it work, not only is the technology there, but we are going to prove it and live it and be able to have a place where you can feel it and experience it. That is so powerful, and we hope to take this example and replicate it across all of our anchor institutions and many spaces across our city. We're also prepared to continue partnering. Boston University has always been one of the City of Boston's strongest partners, and just like your campus, not walled off from the city, but integrated with it, so have been your programming, your specific focus on talking to city policymakers and ensuring that the research and the talent and opportunity expertise here is not only oriented inward into thinking about what happens on campus, but offered outward as a partner that's helping us work on the issues of the day. We will continue to demand and expect and benefit from that, and particularly here as we're looking to firmly establish Boston as the leading technology center and the city where the types of jobs and workforce opportunities that you all will be helping to supplement and produce here. We want to make sure that we are doing everything possible to make sure that your success continues to reflect the entire city's success. So I couldn't be prouder to have the chance to receive the baton at this moment. I know many, many administrations have been involved in the efforts over these 10 years. I see folks who represent many previous iterations of administration officials here, so thank you for your leadership. For everyone who will get the chance to have a beautiful office or classroom here, to spend time learning, educating, sharing your talents with the city. We look forward to the incredible progress that will continue to come from this collaborative space and this partnership with Boston University.
Thank you very much, Mayor Wu. It's now my pleasure to introduce the chair of the Boston University Board of Trustees, Amas Fakahani.
Thank you very much, Provost Morrison. Good afternoon. As chair of the Board of Trustees and on behalf of my trustee colleagues, I'm delighted to be here at this critical milestone for the university, and indeed our lives. One of the most fulfilling elements of serving on the board is that we get to participate in transforming an institution and helping to launch critical initiatives that promise to expand knowledge and to improve lives. They say it takes two to tango, and we had a president with a unique vision around collaborative work in breaking-edge sciences, and a city with such core and purpose around improving humanity, and to let it shine in Boston. Mayor Wu, welcome and thank you. And thank you to you and your predecessors. And we thank you and President Brown both for your vision and courage. It's important to understand how far and how fast we have traveled as an institution. Boston University has clearly emerged as a major private research university with global standing and impact. This has happened within just 2 decades, and that's just a blink of an eye in university years. President Brown and his leadership understood how the data sciences affect our lives and how significant they will become in the decades ahead, and also understood we could lead in this domain. From inception, it was clear he envisioned a building that would lead in unique design, energy, efficiency, and open workplaces that would foster exceptional collaboration and cross-fertilization. And by the way, as you heard, it's carbon neutral. The faculty members who will move into this building are already working hard on cutting-edge research. They'll be able to do more and do it more efficiently and effectively in the state-of-the-art facility. This building, as everyone can see, is dramatic looking. You can't miss it in the skyline. And Harvard and MIT get to enjoy this view every morning with their coffee. We aim to please. This building truly tells people we're serious about making a difference in the world. The board is proud to be part of this work and to support all those who put their heart into this and brought us to this great milestone at Boston University in its stage of history. Let's have the new journey begin. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amas. In just a moment, I'll ask our leadership to take part in the ceremonial ribbon cutting, which will take place right down here at the base of the sit step. But before I do, I'd like to present the following brief video, which through snapshots in time shows just how far we've come since breaking ground here in 2019. So find a monitor and you should see the video.